we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and Game Source. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our fantastic shows. And if you can, please give us that 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, if you could like, share, subscribe, follow, or do whatever it is that you can to support us right here at the Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, Game Source, of course, the great folks at Lakerholics.com. Go ahead and check out Yami Swoot, aka Jamie Sweet, with those 5 Things articles, and Laker Tom with his fabulous articles as well at Lakerholics.com. There's also our good friend, Mr. Joe Soro, aka Ox1947. That's right, the guy down there. Go ahead and check him out today at LakersBall.com. Plus our live watch parties right there for you. We're back with the live watch parties right there. Playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Sean Grice was all over it. Big shout out to Nick Molina. He was all over it. And yes, Joe and I actually stained it with our own presence, but we're obviously having a great time picking on each other throughout the live watch party there for you at playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Plus our good friends at the Hoopheads Podcast Network. And if you want your lawn transformed into something much more beautiful than it is today, and you live in the Southern California area, please go ahead and check out what they're doing today at Simblades.com. That's right, Simblades with a Y.com. And if you can support all that, plus like and subscribe. Please go ahead and subscribe to wherever you watch us, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and Trovo. We got Trovo at it as well. So please go ahead and check us out today, wherever you get your podcasts. If you can do all that, it is sincerely appreciated. Zangerstein says it best. It's sad that it took all these injuries just for Darwin to play big, normal size basketball-like teams. Although there's still some little bit shorter options out there that we're playing it from time to time that does make me a little bit nervous. And I know it does for you as well, Zangerstein, but it was a great game today. Return to form from LeBron James coming off a 1-game illness to go ahead and face off with the rest of the Los Angeles Lakers against the Atlanta Hawks in a game which we're kind of concerned because announced before the game, Troy Brown is out. Austin Reaves is out. Austin Reaves is out for at least a couple weeks, what we're hearing, with a hamstring injury. Then we're also hearing, of course, continuously what is going on with Anthony Davis. We're also hearing continuously what's going on with the rest of the team as far as who's in, who's out. We heard that a report that Sterling Brown, brother of Shannon Brown, is now a member of the Los Angeles Lakers for more than 10 days. We're not sure because he's been only given a 10-day contract. And even the rumors of a Boogie Cousins reunification may be in order because he will be, according to reports, trying out for the Lakers here and working out with the team for a little bit to see if he can go ahead and maybe come back on the team. So all these variables as far as who's in, who's out, who's there, and who's there, not there on the roster. Plus also, well, Lonnie Walker's been on the lineup too. What does that do for the Lakers? Well, it hasn't slowed them down a bit. They had an excellent first half. Transition, as I always say for this team, is what they need to do. Get out in front, and they did very well in this first half, beating the Atlanta Hawks soundly in that first half, getting 70 points in the first half, really looking good. The third quarter wasn't a terrible third quarter. They still got outscored by 5, but they played even in the fourth and really cruised to a strong victory, 130-114. LeBron got a little bit of extra rest, so hopefully he'll be able to go ahead and gut it out for tomorrow's game against Sacramento. And here today to talk about today's game are 2 great parts of our live watch party along with Nick Molina. Thanks so much again, Nick, for hosting it with us. It's a good man indeed. He's the madman for Toronto, the guy who just can't get out of Toronto traffic. It is the Magic Man. Sean Grice, great to have you here. We're excited. I can almost taste the chicken wings that Joe's are going to eat. In fact, everybody was asking me if I'm going to be doing the Blazing Wings challenge as well. That's kind of scary, man.
Actually, it is, Gerald. What would be your dipping sauce?
Ranch. How about that?
Okay, all right.
What if I could do all
You
12 in
can't have
ranch?
ranch. You cannot have ranch.
Why?
When you do the challenge, it's 12 wings, no
12
ranch,
different,
water.
12 different hot sauces. But see, I'm going to trick you and I'm just going to make it into 12 different things of ranch and I'm just going to fake my way through it because I'm that much of a sissy when it comes all to that hot stuff.
You said it, not me.
Anyway,
I'm not going to lie to you, man. Because I'm like, after number 4 or 5, I'm just going to be like,
it was a great victory for the Lakers tonight. We talk about, points in the paint, free throws, and the 3-point advantage. If you can win 2 out of 3 drilled, you're on your way to a victory most nights. And they won 2 out of 3. They had 16 3-pointers versus Atlanta's, I believe, 9. So we were +7 there. Atlanta beat us a little bit in the free throw category. 12 makes, 17 makes our 12. But we did outscore them in the paint 66-50. Like you said, that's the game the Lakers need to play right now. Can you beat the team in transition when they hurt themselves? Atlanta had 96 shots and 12 turnovers. So out of 108 possessions, they had 114 points. That's not bad. That's not a bad defensive effort. Versus the Lakers. Lakers had 93 shot attempts. Few more turnovers. They had 18. So you're 130 points on 111 possessions. Again, you want your offense to maybe be a little bit better, but you'll take a 16-point victory tonight.
well, you know what? It really was a solid performance all the way around. Although I agree with Terrence, they do need to figure out something with the third quarter. And also here today to go ahead and talk about today's game. Another great guy indeed. You got to go ahead and check out what he's doing today at sinblades.com. And of course, LakersBall.com as well as Ox1947. It is Joe Soro. And as Sean and I were talking about, great performance in that first half, the way they kept up the pace, the tempo. But I'm agreeing with Terrence. This third quarter deal, you make fun of me when I talk about it, but it is a serious problem continuing on for the Lakers that they just cannot find any way to even stay even in the third quarter.
I'm not going to really think about that right now.
You're just going to bask in the glow of victory.
Yeah, I don't really care. This is a league of runs, and they equal both the number 2s and good runs, and that's just how it is. The Lakers were pretty much wire to wire in this game. I don't have anything really negative to say about the results, which is at the end of the day, that's all that matters, except for the fact that the Lakers still have a lot of lazy plays that are displaying throughout the game that are unnecessary, that are not forced. If they can solve that problem, they are a dangerous team. And mind you, this is a team that doesn't have Anthony Davis on it, didn't have Austin Reaves, which many people say is at least the 5th best player on the team, 4th best player on the team. I don't know if that's true, but you can argue it. The Lakers seem to have a step in the last week that I haven't seen up until this week, which is they are now not thinking. It looks like they're not thinking as much during a sequence. There was a pass that Wenyen Gabriel made under the basket. It was a terrible pass by Russell Westbrook, but his reaction time was so quick in getting the ball out before he got collapsed on under the basket to Kendrick Nunn, and Kendrick Nunn hit a 3. That play right there showed me something beyond the fact of what's been going on this year, who's available, who's not available. If someone like Wenyen Gabriel can react that quickly on a play like that and create a positive in it, that is a very good sign that your team has some kind of chemistry connection that's coming together. Um, I'm just I'm having a hard time believing that we're 2 games from the 6th seed. Forget the 8, forget the 10. The 6th. We're 2 games behind Golden State for the 6th spot. I guess if there was a year the Lakers had to stumble out of the gate, it was this year. And if AD comes back and finishes the year without an injury, and LeBron keeps doing what he's doing, and the role players pick up each other's slack, I'm not expecting Kendrick Nunn to play lights out the rest of the year. I would love for him to. I wouldn't be surprised considering it's a contract year, which is what I thought he would be in it this year. Thomas Bryant he's starting to show that there's some consistency there that we're going to have to expect, which is great. Schroeder's playing lights out. If this is the team that ends up really putting it together with a healthy AD, there's something here, guys, and I'm starting to turn a little bit here. I'm starting to see the results, and I'm looking forward to seeing what it ends up being.
I'm telling you, my friend, it's very interesting. It's getting more interesting all the time to see this team and how it's reacting to even all the injuries. Sean, I'm going to ask you this, my friend. When it comes to the continuous line of injuries, this is not just the Lakers right now. We're seeing it with a whole bunch of teams right now trying to deal with these issues. Again, the Lakers did sign Sterling Brown today to a 10-day contract. There's also the talk that they may go ahead at some point in time and look deeper into DeMarcus Cousins. But despite the injuries, despite the things that are going on with the Lakers in and out of the lineup, if you have LeBron James there, I mean, yeah, the last victory obviously was very miraculous because there was no LeBron, no AD. But once you have LeBron there as a steadying factor, if you could just give him any kind of support, it seems like for now, at least, on a lot of occasions against these so-so teams, he can get the job done.
Oh, 100%, Gerald.
I didn't say good teams. I didn't say great teams. I said so-so teams.
Absolutely. If you give LeBron, a few utility players who could do, 2 to 3 things, average to good to well. He's like a mechanic. He's just gonna go under the hood and figure out a way to make it work. Like you said, not great teams, not elite teams, but against so-so teams, average teams, LeBron's intellect and his ability to be patient and wait the game out rather than forcing the issue plays to the Lakers' advantage right now, especially since we are still bereft of shooting. We may have shot a decent percentage tonight, but that's not going to happen. Multiple games in a row, you're going to have to rely on. I mean, my goodness, we even won the rebounding battle tonight. Thomas Bryant and Russell Westbrook combined for 24 rebounds, including 20 on the defensive board. So hats off to them for protecting the rim. Thomas Bryant again finds a way to contribute. If his shot isn't falling from beyond the arc, he still finds a way to eke out points at the rim. He's playing with much more confidence. This is as confident as I've seen him in a Lakers uniform. And like Joe was saying, maybe they get a couple more victories here, and then you're cooking with peanut oil.
Well, again, it's just very encouraging to see how the Lakers are playing and how they're adapting to the in and out lineups, because a lot of these teams are right now struggling with the in and out lineups that they're dealing with so far this season. So it's very encouraging to see.
Well,
Joe, go ahead, John.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put out a Mamba challenge to the Lakers.
Watch out
for tomorrow, Gerald, that you finally defeat a decent team on a back-to-back. Look, they played. So tomorrow will be the 6th back-to-back they played all year. They've only won one on the back end of that, and that was the Spurs mini series that we played. So
I
I'm
believe
calling
if they do win tomorrow night, it'll be their first victory against a team in the Pacific Division.
100%. That's the Mamba challenge. Defeat the Sacramento Kings tomorrow.
They don't have victories against anyone in the Pacific Divisions. That's part of the problem right there as far as how this season has went for the Lakers. But things are looking up right now. Once again, the Lakers do win, going away, cruising to a 130 to 114 victory. It's the Lakers Fast Break. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here with the Magic Man, Sean Grice, and Joe Soro. The Lakers are now 18-21. They're a game out of 10th place. And as Joe said earlier, they're 2 games out of 6th place in the Western Conference. We don't even look at the division anymore. I was just saying that before we went on the air. Like, we don't even look at the division as far as the Pacific Division anymore, really. It doesn't really matter. It's usually about what's going on in the conference. Joe, let me ask you this. When it comes to the Lakers, you're seeing some very encouraging signs. Obviously, it led you to go ahead and, obviously let everybody know about the thoughts that you had on as far as if the Lakers win 5 in a row, that you might be doing you will be doing the Blazing Challenge. Who knows? I was even told to go ahead and do it. So you never know. I may even up and do it if they win 5 in a row. But when it comes to the Lakers and you're seeing these encouraging signs without AD, without Lonnie Walker, without Austin Reaves, without, Troy Brown Jr. as well. I mean, the list keeps going on as far as in the M.A.S.H unit, but the Lakers still keep going strong.
And I'm assuming it's coming from maybe just our impatient philosophies in today's sports world, or maybe in life in general. We are by the minute critics, by the series, heck, we were doing it tonight. Every bad play was critiqued to the T. And I think where that comes from is we live in a culture now where we can get on a computer, we can talk while we're on the computer, we can be on the computer, talk, and watch the game. We can be on the computer, talk, watch the game, and entertain people. People are watching. And I don't know if it's ever going to be like it used to be, where we don't talk about the bad plays after a game. I mean, Sportsnet does it, I think. They don't really talk about the bad stuff. I guess we could be fake like that. But I think, if anything, it's just, my thing is, I know the difference between lazy play and the inability to make a shot or get room to make a shot. You can visibly see when it's not necessarily in their control. You can get outplayed by the opponent and go, wow, there's nothing, LeBron could have done there. He got double teamed and he got it at the end of the shot clock, and he couldn't make the shot. But instead, there's these ill-advised threes, ill-advised passes that shouldn't be going. And that's, I think, where we criticize. But they did such good stuff tonight that it overshadowed all that. And it doesn't really matter in the end, guys. We need wins. We need wins desperately, because the more wins like this we get, the more it hurts that we could very easily be, 30-18 if we just win a few of those games that we should have won. But it is what it is. We are in a place now where chemistry is building. A lot of the role players are playing consistently, and some are surprising us. And with good news coming out of the camp with AD, if AD plays healthy the rest of the year and LeBron continues to play the way he's playing, we have an interesting change in mindset now. What if the Lakers kill it in the second half of the year? What if they go 30-11? Then what do we do?
Want to thank everybody so much for watching and listening. Joe, you got a question from obviously right here on Twitch, right there. ISO says, "How y'all feel about the Lakers season so far?" I mean, obviously we're seeing a good part of the stretch now. It's been disappointing for most of it, but we're starting to see maybe some light at the end of the tunnel.
My assessment of the season is, and the interpretation is going to, at least my own interpretation of my assessing my feelings on how I've reacted to the team. Sometimes I sit back and I'm like, have I been hard on the team too much? These are new guys, they're playing together, there's injuries. Yeah, I think we've been hard on them. But then there's another side that tells me we have LeBron James and Anthony Davis on this team. LeBron James is at an advanced age, whatever that means at this point. And we're in a somewhat time crunch in trying to somehow squeeze in one more title with the AD LeBron era. And more than that is 18. It's 18. And I'll tell you why I'm being fair on this. When Kobe won in 2010, he had won his 5th championship, and he did it beating the Celtics. This is the first time as a grown adult in my life as a Laker fan where I saw a Laker team defeat the Celtics in the finals, and they defeated them in astonishing fashion, coming back from 3-2, killing them in Game 6 to force us Game 7, and winning that back and forth Game 7, which probably took about a year of my life away.
Yeah, considering we couldn't hit the broadside of a barn in that first 24 minutes.
And KG, and I'd said this on a show way back, KG reiterated that they could not move in that game. They were so spent.
It was like pudding. It was like playing in pudding.
And Kobe Bryant, the madman, the crazy man, the workout freak. You know, when you've watched sports or been involved in sports or played sports, you know that Kobe left that series kind of like how Madison Bumgarner left the 2014 World Series. That whole run, he essentially did what he did in that run, and he had never been the same since, because he went in through the depths of everything and essentially won that World Series for the Giants. Same with Kobe. Kobe, those last 3 years, squeezed every ounce of talent, training, message, inspiration, whatever, win the 5th title, beating the Celtics in a Game 7 for the first time, beating the Celtics. First of all, Celtics had never lost a 3-2 lead. Done. Never lost a Game 7. Done. Never lost a Game 7 to the Lakers. Done. Kobe finishes his career beating the Celtics in the finals, getting 5, essentially solidifying his career altogether. Even though he was catching Jordan, I never looked at it that way. I actually went after that finals and said, hey, man, that was a hell of a decade. We got 5 championships in 11 years. Wow, what a freaking amazing way to end it, right? Same thing here. 18 is like, if we can get 18, it would almost make us, at least for me, would make the following years a little bit more tolerable in terms of if they're not winning. I can just kind of sort of enjoy, hey, you know what? We got to kind of build this up again and see what happens next.
We'll see what happens next.
As far as my expectations, I think I don't want to speak for Gerald, but I think he said something similar, that it's hard. It was really hard to gauge an expectation this year, just based on what we saw last year. So for them to go 0-5 and skid out, and then get the car back on the road, because for Darvinham's faults, and we've pointed them out. He's got them fighting their asses off. They don't quit. Not like last year's team. When last year's team, if they were down 15 with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, they'd likely just wave the white flag and call it a day. But not this group. They keep fighting. They hustle. So outside of the 0-5 start, and then we got the car back on the road. We went 5-10 over in the next 15, and now we've won 4 in a row. It's up and down right now, but so is the rest of the Western Conference, basically, except for the Nuggets, the Pelicans right now. I feel decent about where they are right now, just given all the injuries and the lack of chemistry. I'd still like to see them make a move. You need to shore up that perimeter defense some way, somehow. I'm not saying they need an overhaul or anything, but you need to weld something together that can if you want to make a run, you're going to have to add at least 2 perimeter players right now to this roster.
And with a month left before the trade deadline, the inference for something to be done to hopefully help this team. Because, Joe, I want to talk to you about one of the reasons why the Lakers have done so well in this 4-game win streak, especially the last 2, was the fact that LeBron, this tonight, and actually, of course, the previous game, the supporting cast really stepped up to the plate and gave great performances as a unit for the most part.
Very true.
But let me finish. The thing is, we have not been able to say that consistently at all most of the year, because it is on paper to be still one of the weakest in the NBA. So how many performances you're going to get continuously from this supporting cast, which is of great concern, which necessitates, in my opinion, still that the Lakers should still seek out some trades to go ahead and build this roster.
It helps to have LeBron only play 33 minutes a game. Now, if you have AD playing, you might be able to shrink that to my number, which is 29-30 for LeBron. We'll talk about that more when AD comes back. Now, as far as the role players playing, usually role players being consistent and effective, that's usually a very good coaching trait for the coach. That means the coach is inspiring the secondary players to buy into the game. LeBron makes it a little easy because he is a team first pass type guy. That does help, but usually a good role playing team is usually meaning there's something the coach is doing that's putting them in the right position and they're being effective. Thomas Bryant is this wasn't a surprise that he would play well. I think the only thing we were waiting on is if his leg had healed enough. I know that he doesn't have the lateral movement, and I don't know if he ever will, even when he didn't have an injury issue.
He doesn't have the vertical lift.
But there is a feel for the game that he has.
Yeah.
Tonight, he was able to maneuver himself in certain spots, and I love a guy who, when he's 2 feet from the rim, just finding a knack to getting that ball in there. And that is what Thomas Bryant has really, really, really done well. He's catching the ball even when the ball isn't really necessarily where he needs it to be. That's another huge thing. It's a very the 2 points, and I'll keep saying this as many times as I can. Those 2 points don't turn into 2 points. They turn into more because of the execution of something that probably should not have happened. Meaning, if he's getting a bounce pass that's a little too much to the left and he's able to grab it with his right hand, pull it in, and then dunk it right away, that's a huge play, because that's either a turnover, which turnovers are the great momentum breakers, and have it, switch over to the other team. But with him, he's catching everything within his vicinity and getting it in the basket, which is huge. He makes his free throws, which is huge for a big man. Imagine if you have Bryant and AD in that lineup, and you've got the perimeter guys doing their thing, keeping everybody honest, and then you got AD doing his thing, Thomas doing his thing, and on top of that, if you're fouling those guys, they're hitting at an 80% clip. That is what wins basketball games. That's what wins playoff games. Now, I wasn't going to mention the trade thing because I'm trying to stay away from that, but you asked, so I have to answer now. Yes. Short answer, yes. They still need reinforcements, but we may not need 3 or 4 like I thought, should they continue to play like this. At this point, they probably need a couple guys. But then you're going to have to battle the fact that, are you going to mess up who you're going to trade and still keep the chemistry there? I would feel confident if I had Jerry West calling the shots. Heck, even Mitch to some degree. I
don't have that same confidence.
I don't have that same confidence with Rob. I don't know if he knows how to do that.
I don't even have that same confidence with Mitch. I'm sorry.
Well, Mitch went out.
Dang. Hello.
The longer we talk about that, the more, and maybe I'm being naive or giving Mitch a break here. I got a little bit of a feeling that he sabotaged the Lakers on purpose with those two.
Naive.
But that's a different story for a different time. As of right now, the Lakers have shifted the 3 to 4 player need in terms of acquisition to 2. Can you get 2 guys between now and February 9th, not mess up chemistry, and have those 2 guys being really important parts to getting the Lakers into the playoffs and also doing damage in the playoffs?
Great question that was posed by Brian in the chat. The world's best Lakers chat room right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Hi, well, right there. It's Brian right there. I posted up on the screen. How good do you all think, and I'm using his words, how good do y'all think we can be if healthy when AD and everyone else comes back and the way LeBron is playing? Well, if LeBron continues to play like this, Sean, and AD continues to comes back and can play anywhere near the MVP level or like level he was playing earlier this season, and you can get any kind of help consistently from the supporting cast with the way the Western Conference is right now, I think anything is possible. I'm beginning to think anything is possible. Just beginning to.
Yeah, Gerald, I've been sprinkled with that pixie dust as well.
I'm gonna sprinkle all over you right now, my friend, right here.
Just a little bit. The Western Conference is wide open, and we only find ourselves, like Joe said, a game and a half out of 6 spot. There are only 2.5 games out of a top 4 spot.
They don't match up well with Memphis or New Orleans, even at a full roster, but they match up very well against Denver.
Yes, absolutely. They've gone, even with the injury bugaboo, they've gone 7-5 without AD, which is really good actually. If you're playing almost 600 ball with one of your best players out, that's pretty damn good.
Absolutely.
I think, look, Gerald, I think we saw the best out of this group already during that Milwaukee game. I think that's the best kind of effort overall you could hope for. That's probably their ceiling. I just, there's, because of a lack of consistency with the injuries and because of a lack of chemistry with the injuries as well, it's difficult. That's a difficult question to answer about, how good are they together right now. I think they'd probably end up being, in the middle, basically, if they didn't add anything and AD and LeBron were playing at peak levels. I think you're a 4 or 5 seed there. I think if you add a couple of really strong perimeter defenders, and one, preferably two shooters / scorers, then you can vault yourself in that having a puncher's chance against a team with a lot of depth like Memphis or New Orleans. But you're right, we're just not there with them.
I think they can if you've got two players like LeBron and AD playing at the level that they've played this season. But that's a very tall if against such a stacked roster that both New Orleans and Memphis have. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's harder. Denver, they seem to always play well against Jokic. That seems to be something that it's really easy for them. Phoenix, it's kind of come and go. Golden State, it's kind of come and go. It's kind of, it just seems weird how they could just dominate those teams one day and they get bit dominated by them the next. But I think Denver is a real good matchup for them. The Clippers, with the Clippers, that's something that they have to start shaking off because they've not been very successful against the Clippers. But again, LeBron and AD playing at an MVP-like level, or like two of the top 10 players in the game, I think anything is not out of the question at this point in time. Joe, you concur with both Sean and myself?
Yeah, I'd prefer you not mention the Clippers anymore because I don't.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to mention they are in the Pacific Division and the Western.
I don't care about the Pacific Division and the Clippers or anything involving.
They are above the Lakers right
now.
Your
infatuation with that franchise is a little.
I mentioned them
tiring.
3 times in a month, and you say that's an
yes, that's 3 times too much. I don't even think about that team, let alone talk about them. So
they're above the Lakers in the standings.
And I'm going to tell you, like I told you, on playback. You're not about that life, son.
Oh my gosh!
So
this is Kitty. Okay, I want to make sure that everybody, including the podcast listeners, can hear the sound of my eyes rolling as Joe said that once again. Oh.
We're in the results business. Boy, I haven't said that in a while. And the results are coming. We're not playing the upper echelon teams, but who is? We're talking about a conference that's separated from 1 to the guaranteed 6 by 6 games. By 6 games.
And in the Eastern Conference, it's just as tight. The first seed to the 5th seed is 4 games.
Exactly. You got 1 through 12. That's 8 games.
It's a lot of parity this year.
The NBA got its wish, at least for the first half of the season, which is mediocrity. That's what I call this. This is mediocre crap. Good basketball in certain respects, but I don't want to see this. But if there was a season to do it, this is a good year because we're Laker fans and Lakers came out the gate slow and now they're coming back and it's going to help. However, we have to see if the second half of this season, which is coming up soon here, is going to have the relevant players doing what they're supposed to do. Number 1, AD being available. Number 2, monitoring LeBron's minutes so he's fresh for the playoffs. I want him playing every game, but he needs to be playing 29, 30 minutes. That's it. You wouldn't have to worry about him taking games off if he was playing those minutes. Tonight, probably the most encouraging thing after the win was the fact that LeBron only played 33 minutes. That is a great thing. Now,
and you chided me for that on the watch party.
What do you mean?
You told me, oh, well, that's not a big deal, Gerald. That's not a big deal. Anything, anytime, any amount of minutes that LeBron can save.
When the hell did I say that?
You said it. You said when I was talking about how it was good that LeBron
gets you got mixed up. You got mixed up.
No.
I was talking about something else. No.
Sean is my witness. No.
No, Sean's going to be on my side. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. So, anyways, the Lakers are playing uphill a little bit now. We're starting to get to that over the hump thing. Because think about it, we considered Lonnie Walker and Austin Reaves 4 and 5. I'm sorry, 3 and 4 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't even playing, and Troy Brown Jr. was a starter. So now you're seeing not only the guys that were supposedly the 3 and 4 guy on the team not play. You've got a player who was starting a lot of games who's not playing. Now you got the rest of the guys pulling their weight, and not only pulling their weight, this was a wire-to-wire win, guys, and this was essentially a double-digit lead the whole game.
Yeah, and it was great to see Juan Toscano Anderson play with activity. You know, sometimes
Amazing what happens when you do that, and when you got length. I could not figure out why JTA wasn't a better player. This guy's got length. He's got athleticism. Why can't, you know, that's, I guess, where the coach, and I said this on playback, where the coach, and here as well, where the coach, that's where the coach needs to show how good he is can you inspire that guy that has the tools to do better? Because there's one thing Shaq said about Phil Jackson when he was playing with Phil. He goes, you ever notice how Steve Kerr, when he was playing with the Cleveland Cavaliers, you never heard about him? He goes to the Bulls, he becomes somebody. You know? You have Judd Bushler. You have John Paxson. You know, all these guys that are secondary players that all of a sudden have these big moments and these big games. Do they have those big moments, big games without the right system, coaching, and obviously the superstars around them help too? But hey, they played with superstars before that. You know, there's a lot of stars in the NBA. But why that particular team? Well, because I think a lot of times there's certain coaches that can hit a button that ignites that talent. And I think we're getting a little bit of that right now with Darvin Ham. Maybe guys are starting to get used to the message. Maybe guys are starting to respect him more. Maybe Darvin Ham started going into the film room and going, guys, look, this is what you're doing wrong. Can you fix it? If you fix this, we're going to win. And then all of a sudden they start winning games. And then, the attention goes, well, you know what, man? Darvin did say this in films. And, we adjusted and then we started winning. And again, we didn't just win tonight, guys. We destroyed Atlanta. Yeah, they made a run here and there. Gerald got all bent out about the third quarter because he only talks about the third quarter more than the Clippers. That's the only thing he talks about more than.
I've kind of been upset about the third quarters myself. So
when you're the worst scoring team in the third quarter, Joe,
let's start absorbing Laker Tom's positiveness now since we're winning. Be one with Laker Tom. Have the spirit of positive Laker Tom. Be in the room now because it inspires the audience too. We're here to talk about a team that essentially held a double-digit lead for an entire game. That's good. That's a good thing. Now let's see if we can take it to Sacramento. Now it's not the same arena, but I still call it Staples North. Well, I don't know, it doesn't sound right. Crypto North? That's a stupid name. But we owe Sacramento an ass whooping, by the way. So I'm hoping when they get on the plane tonight or tomorrow morning or whenever they do, they're like, hey, guys, these guys have been whooping our ends.
What's their arena called now? I know it was Sleep Train. Now, what is it now? The Pepperidge Farm Center?
Yes.
Light that beam. No, not tomorrow, I'm hoping.
They make good cookies, by the way.
They do. I will give them that. Yes, indeed. All right, there you go, Joe. Once again, it's the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do pull away for a nice victory, a very comfortable victory, 130-114. Before we go on out, guys, I want to talk about real quickly, can the Lakers sustain this for the rest of the month? Jim Howell brought up a good point earlier in the chat about how the Lakers still have quite a few games to go before the end of the month. And the fact is, first, and as John said as well, they have to get to 500 first. That's a key. And then they can start thinking about some real big prospects from there. Sean, I'll start with you first. What do you think the Lakers can do realistically about how they can close out the rest of this month? They still got 13 games left, I believe, for the rest of this month. How well do you think they can go ahead and succeed, fail? Where do you think the future lies ahead for the team?
I think 8-5 is doable, Gerald. So if the Lakers went 8-5, they would be 26-26, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take that. I think that's realistic. Um, I think they're more than capable of possibly winning 9 or 10 games the rest of the way. It's you know what it's about now.
Mhm.
These past 4 games, you've seen them play complementary basketball, and I know that buzzword gets thrown around in sports, but basically they've been they've been relying on their transition with turnovers or defensive stops. They've been trying to force other teams to run off the 3-point line, which has been nice to see. And they're just playing their butts off most of the time. I'd like to see them playing their butts off all of the time, but it unfortunately we don't have the athletes on the perimeter right now for that. But I definitely think 8-5, 9-4, 10-3 is definitely in the cards, Gerald. And I think that's important to end January at 500 or better.
Oh, there you go. Joe, do you feel the same way? I think in chat you said like 8-5, if I'm not mistaken.
As soon as I said 8-5, Sean said it. If they're 8-5, that means they're going to be above 500 by the end of January, which means they're going to go into the last 9 days of February, or the first 9 days of February before the deadline, kind of even, and then they have a shot at kind of finishing off. What would they be at 8-13? So you're looking at, they're sitting at right now 39 games. So 13, you got 49, you got 40, 42 games in.
Mm-hmm.
So they'd be
Yep.
21
Almost
and 21.
halfway.
Yeah, so they'd be 20. Am I saying that right? 13?
Yeah, 43 games left. Yep.
Yeah. So now if you win, if you got a healthy AD and these guys are pulling their weight, things could get interesting now. Things can get interesting. And the Lakers they got a little bit of some luck this season with the way the West has gone.
Well, Jared, and to his credit, Gerald called this. I had thought there'd be at least a couple 60-win teams in the Western Conference, but Gerald called it from the start. He said, "Nah, this conference is too cannibalistic for any team to basically win 60 games this year."
I mean, the only way that there's going to be a really outstanding team, I think, is if just because the Denver, the home advantage that they have, but they're not really, top team. I mean, I picked them as the top team in the Western Conference, but I picked that more because of they have such a home advantage. The thin air. Teams usually go there on the second of a back to back. They're tired. They get in the thin air. This happens season after season after season where we see Denver have that advantage. So I was thinking that with Jokic and that kind of advantage and the fact that they have a pretty good team, that I thought that was going to get them into that number one slot simply because of that. It just wasn't because they're like a loaded team like you're seeing with Boston or maybe even now Brooklyn, you got to talk about in that context, or what we're seeing in Milwaukee. This is just a really good team with a very advantageous home arena.
And we're only 6 games out of the loss column from them.
That's true.
Here's an interesting situation. We've seemed to have dominated Denver recently, even as bad as we were, even when we were bad. So if you're talking about Denver being a top tier team, and then you got the Pelicans up there, and then you got a one-man show with Dallas, and Sacramento's had our number, but I'm looking at this line, I'm looking at the top 4, and I'm going, okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this from a healthy team standpoint, and the Lakers are in. Are you afraid of any of those teams in a 7-game series? If you've got a AD and a LeBron?
No. Not in the slightest.
Things could get interesting.
Could be interesting.
And
Absolutely.
we got lucky, guys. We got lucky. I think had we known that the West would be this mediocre, maybe we wouldn't have reacted the way we did at the beginning of the year. Maybe we would have said, you know what, we just got to kind of ride this a little. But I think we were stained from the last 2 years a little too much. If it was 2021, which, Gerald, I don't know if you guys had the show in 2021, didn't
Yep.
you? Okay.
Mhm.
You remember your reaction during that year?
It was well. The reaction was, why couldn't the Lakers be? They were still a very good team on paper. Still had moments and flashes where you saw that they could go ahead and repeat. And because of the injuries that went down and the way things went down during the course of the season, it was just a case more of what if. But you saw a couple of signs as far as some trades, some things that were being done towards the end of that season that just, it started. We didn't know at the time, but it looked more and more like it was being whittled down as far as what we're seeing to what we have today. I'm still not 100% convinced because this roster, as far as after LeBron and AD, is just all over the place. I understand that's what usually role players do, but you see with these other teams, some of these other teams have consistent role players that can give you consistent quality outings time and time out. Let's say 4 out of 5 times. With the Lakers, it's just all over the place. And you're just like, Ham is just trying to guess on which players are actually going to contribute which day. Today, or in the last game, he's been hot with Kendrick Nunn, putting him in the lineup, and he's been able to go ahead and utilize him. And I know that's already gotten our conversation started as far as can we retain Nunn? Can we retain Nunn? A week from now, Nunn could be back sitting on the bench at the end of the roster once again.
I'm not. My focus isn't on Nunn. My focus is
Well,
on.
I'm just talking about as the roster as a whole. There's so inconsistent.
Right. My focus is going to be on the fact that I believe that Thomas Bryant's going to continue to play well.
Yes.
I believe that
He's the only one that's been consistent for.
I believe Austin Reaves will play well. I believe Lonnie Walker will play well. And the fact that they were able to dominate, they've been playing really well this last week or so. And there's been a lot of in and outs. So I'm waiting on the final. I don't want any more in and outs. I want a healthy freaking team. And then I'll be able to tell you, and we'll be able to see what this team is. How are you ever going to? They had the most difference. They had the most starting lineups that were different in all the NBA. No one's had more different starting lineups than the Lakers this year. And that's been the theme of the Lakers the last almost 3 seasons. At what point are we going to get out of this revolving door? Is there any consistency? If you look at the 2020 season, they had the same starting lineup the whole year, practically. And that plays an important part in this. It's going to play an important part, especially if we can get it in the second half of the season. We get a healthy team, and we're able to keep LeBron under 30 minutes a game. You are going to be a dangerous team going into the playoffs. Absolutely dangerous, even with this current roster.
Once again, it's the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do have a very comfortable, one of their better wins as far as overall in the season, one of their most comfortable wins of the season, 131-14. Interesting to see Atlanta just, they seem like on the paper, a more talented team, but they're just all over the place. There's a lot of turbulence behind the scenes. Sean pointed it out earlier in the week to talk about that as far as what he was saying with I guess the team and the coach are not on the right page right now. And that could be spelling the end of Nate McMillan. We've already heard rumors that he wants to go ahead and resign already. So a lot to figure out on Atlanta's end. But when it comes to the Lakers, we're really seeing some encouraging signs on the upswing. Sean, when you see the team playing like this, tomorrow's a back-to-back. And even if they just lose, just stay competitive tomorrow night at home, tomorrow night in Sacramento, as long as they stay competitive, man, and if they can pull out a win, if they keep it close, you never know what's going to happen.
You never know, Gerald, but you're right, man. Tomorrow on a back-to-back, if they're competitive for, 45 minutes and then the last 3 minutes it might get away from them, that's gravy. And a win would be would be a cherry on top. But hopefully just going in tomorrow with the same kind of attitude. I'm not sure if any of the 4 players who were out tonight will be available tomorrow. I know Reaves is likely out. It doesn't look like Troy Brown Jr. is going to play, but I haven't heard much on Lonnie Walker yet. So
He's still out with that contusion. That tail
yeah.
contusion.
So I mean, we're probably going to roll with the same crew tomorrow. Hopefully, they just play really hard and can scratch and claw to win. Because Joe's right. I mean, we're due to lay a smackdown on the Sacramento Kings one of these nights. Might not be tomorrow, but hopefully we can just cut out a win.
I'm gonna say this. If I'm the coach, okay, I go into the locker room tonight, and guys, you handled this game about as good as you could. LeBron didn't put up a lot of energy. You held the lead comfortably all game, despite the few runs, which is normal. I said, but I need you guys to get ready for tomorrow's butt whipping. We need to get those guys good tomorrow. They've been slapping us around. We owe them one. Keep the momentum going. Let's go do it. This is Sacramento, guys. They are our B, and they always will be our B. So show it now. They've had enough.
Well, I will say that the Lakers hopefully will go ahead and do what they can tomorrow to provide a good.
No, that's not good enough.
And a win that will
not do if I can. I want now. Do it.
All right.
In their cookie arena.
Go fly to Sacramento and make sure they do not.
Don't point at me.
I'll point at you. I'll point at you. Right there. I want you to go fly to Sacramento tomorrow and prevent them, even if you have to get on top of the arena, prevent them from lighting that beam one more time.
If I thought I could get a front row seat and stand up behind their bench and say, these guys have been whooping your rear ends for what, 2 years now. You owe them one. And if I felt like they would all turn around and go, yep, you're right, and they went out and did it, I'd go do it. Believe me, I would. But I would also be sad that they needed to hear that from some schlep like me. So I don't know. This is.
You heard it first. He called himself a schlep right there for you. Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Really good crowd tonight, and we truly appreciate it. From the best Lakers chat room that's out there, right there for you at the Lakers Fast Break. Jim House says this 4-game streak good for team culture and bench confidence. Absolutely. I agree. I agree with you, Jim.
They're the 3 best seasons they ever had as a franchise, the Sacramento Kings. 2002, 2003, 2004. Won 55 games, 61 games, over 50 games. They lost a Game 7 in every year. Lost a Game 7 to the Lakers, out. Lost a Game 7 to the Mavs, out. Lost a Game 7 to the Wolves, out. That's the story of their team. Get to a Game 7, never win a Game 7.
There you go. Joe from Jim Howe. Jim Howe is really liking what you're doing out there, both you and Sean Grice. I want to go ahead and say also as well that thanks so much again for watching and listening. Zanger Science says Atlanta does not like playing with each other. There's a lot of problems with that team, a lot of internal strife, things of that nature. So it's just a shame because it's still a younger team, which has a lot of talent. And I think if that season continues to derail, I think there's going to be a lot of trades in the offering. I still think that they could, package a deal for some nice talent and return. And the Lakers might even look down that road if they need to, as far as Atlanta being maybe a seller if it continues this way. But Joe, when it comes back to this game, really it's an encouraging sign. We thought the Lakers on this roll that they've been really looking strong, but I think even watching today's game made me convinced that this team now has the confidence that they can go ahead and get into the mix in the Western Conference.
They're already in the mix based off of the competition right now in the West. We didn't see it a few weeks ago because we weren't paying attention to it. Heck, I wasn't even paying attention to it. The standings are remarkable looking at it right now. I'm looking at it. I'm going, you're a 7-8 game winning streak away from being a 1 seed. That's 2 weeks of playing really good ball. Oh, hey, Lakers have a 4-game winning streak. What if they just go 8, you know what, in the next week and a half? It could be a 2-3 seed. I mean, imagine that before AD comes back. Imagine that. It's not likely, but maybe it is. I mean, at this point, I'm like, let's see how they do tomorrow. If they beat a good team tomorrow, you got a couple of good teams coming up too. You got Philly, you got Denver at Denver, right? You start winning those games. Now you're starting to get really scary again, especially if your top dog is not there. And then when AD gets back and he starts playing AD MVP ball and he doesn't get injured again, shoot, we're right back to focusing on the playoff run now.
Yep, absolutely. And that's something that we need to hopefully get back into. So I'll finish it off with this, guys. And once again, it's the Lakers fast break. Before we head on out, Sean, you know, what Joe's talking about is obviously us eyeing the playoffs. We still need to get above Minnesota. We still need to get above Utah in the Western Conference, but it's obviously being only a game out of 10th place. It's more feasible. With a win tomorrow night, we could feasibly, I don't know, get really, really close to being in that mix, in the play-in mix. We could be, I think it would take another win. I think it'd take another couple wins, but we could actually be inside that play-in window by middle of the next week. Your thoughts on how soon this could be a possibility the way the Lakers are playing right now?
Yeah, I mean, Gerald, we've have proven it this year. We've beaten Denver, we've beaten Brooklyn, we've beaten Milwaukee, we've beaten quality teams. Yeah, and the past week and a half, you don't get to decide who's on your schedule. You play who you play.
Mm-hmm.
You play the team that's in front of you, and regardless of Hackney's criticism from losers out there or people who really don't understand what they're watching and just have diarrhea of the mouth because that's all they can compute, like Joe was saying, is in the moment, at the moment. Joe's right. I mean, you could go on a 6 on, we've won 4 in a row. They could win another 6 in a row. All of a sudden now they're 10 plus in a row, and you vaunted yourself into, a 3rd or a 4th seed. That's how quickly things can change now in the NBA, in the Western Conference. I think it's definitely feasible. I think Darvin Ham also needs to settle on outside of AD's injury, the 3 or 4 guys he wants to consistently play with LeBron. So we know basically Thomas Bryant is going to play with LeBron every time he's out on the floor, pretty much. Who else? Well, we obviously have Russ out there. Short of Austin Reaves and Lonnie Walker being available, so you have Juan Toscano-Anderson to balance out the length on the perimeter. But you still need a few guys. I'd like to see Sterling Brown play a little bit more. I remember watching him a little bit in Dallas. He definitely has that 3-and-T game, but like you said, Gerald, it's inconsistent. It's along the same lines as a JTA or a Troy Brown Jr.
I don't think he lasts outside of the 10-day.
Yeah. So I mean, right. So you need to find consistency there on the perimeter, and internally, it's not there. What we have there are good Band-Aids or filter, so to speak, but we need consistency there. That it's just not going to break internally.
I didn't know Joe Soro were twins. I didn't know you had a twin, Joe. Lucas seems convinced that there's a good twin, a good Joe, and an evil Joe.
It's like
Didn't even know.
It's like twins. This Joe got all the good parts, and the other Joe got all the crap.
Is it like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito?
Yes. Okay.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Lucas seems convinced.
Yeah, that's Danny's line in the movie. You gave him all the good stuff, and I got all the crap.
Well, Luca complimented us, which I really appreciated. But
as we all do.
But look, G, you can look in the mirror and compliment yourself all you want. I hope it makes you feel good. But some of us are.
I'm not a narcissist like you.
That might be true, but the thing is, it's like anything else in life. You have to adjust to what is going on. Technology, family versus non-family. It's not just sports, right? But let's talk about, I guess, the good person today. Do you want me to be bad today?
No.
Double-digit wire-to-wire win practically? No. It's not going to look right. Why would I do that? Then I'm going to turn into someone who's trying to get your attention in a wrestling heel way, just trying to tickle your face to piss you off.
Say like Skip Bayless?
Joe's like Arn Anderson or Dusty Rhodes.
Hey, that's a good comparison. I love the Enforcer. The Arn Anderson was known as the Enforcer, and that is pretty much my daily job, is to enforce. If the Lakers are winning the way they're supposed to, you're never going to see the bad. Now, we did talk about some of the bad in the game, and it's usually going to be tied to why are they making mistakes that are not forced over and over again. But they were able to make up for those mistakes by playing well, making shots, all that stuff, right? And that's really all it is, guys. I'm not trying to be fake. I am giving you the analysis of what I'm seeing. Now, Gerald is he's been sticking to the negative side today, which is fine. Sometimes
realistic.
It'll be, 3 weeks from now and the Lakers are a 6 seed, and then Gerald will still come back, talk about the Clippers for a couple segments. Then he'll talk about how
about the Clippers for a couple segments,
right? So we know your game, Gerald. It's all on tape. There's a receipt. I'm not making things up. Go back and look at the receipt, and it'll confirm what I'm saying. So tomorrow, if we win tomorrow, I'm gonna start getting the feeling that the team is getting an attitude that is needed at the moment. That they're getting that, we're gonna go in here and bust your rear end. Once you start doing that, and you're the Lakers, and you got LeBron, and hopefully AD coming back next week, so allegedly, you're gonna see a lot more happy people in here because the results are there. The results. We're asking for results. You have LeBron James, who's arguably a top. Can we say he's a top 10 player still in the league?
All right, now he's playing like
it. Now Joey's being criticized about talking about the Clippers.
AD, is he not a top 3 player when he's in MVP mode?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, guys. This is not the Clippers, Gerald, with a one-legged Kawhi Leonard and a Paul George who's more concerned about his side pieces than playing basketball. This is about LeBron and AD and the Laker lore and 17 championships. That's why we're like this. We expect greatness because that's what this franchise is.
But I call it like I see it. I always have, and I always will, my friend.
Well, you got to start getting your contacts fixed.
No, I don't have to fix anything. I never ask you to fix anything. Well, actually, I have. Never mind, off camera. After I usually get a poor letter or two. But that's beside the point. Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. It's Gerald Glassford along with Joe, the newly changed man that he is, Joe Soro. There you go. And then also as well, the MagicMan, Sean Grice. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Truly appreciate Z out there. Thanks so much as well. Appreciate Gotta Be the Shoes. Everybody that's been a great part. Sovereign, Terrence, Jim, Howard, all been a great part of our conversation today. Luca's been obvious. He usually comes after we're on the air, so great to have him on the air with us live. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Guys, any last thoughts before we head on out? Sean, any last thoughts on what the Lakers can do this weekend before we head on out?
Whatever our guys decided to eat before the game tonight, do the exact same thing tomorrow, please. Because tomorrow is not a must win, but it's a need to win. You need to win that game. Psychologically for yourself and to put some pressure on the Sacramento Kings. I'll grant them the respect of calling them the Kings, Gerald, but I'm thinking what Shaq called them, but I'd never say it.
Wasn't he offered ownership at one time in them?
Yes, he was.
Okay. I'm just checking. Just checking indeed. But once again, the Lakers do win 130 to 114. Looking very strong. And I want to remind everyone that we will have our live watch party on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Back strong, going up as strong. It was a great time tonight. I hope you can be a part of our watch party tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Set right there for you on Saturday against the Sacramento Kings. Hopefully we will prevent them from lighting the beam once again. And I want to just mention the fact that I was at CES, got a chance to talk to the people behind this headset I have right now on my head. That's the Think Right Victory 250 XG gaming headset. It's only $40. It's available right now on Amazon. I'll make sure to put in the description where you can buy it if you're interested. But if you think I sound pretty good, you think it looks pretty good, it's very lightweight. It's been very handy. And I had a chance to talk to the CEO behind us. Great job indeed. So I got a chance to go ahead and talk to him about this. So right there at CES this past week, looking forward to some great things with this, but also as well our show as well, the Lakers Fast Break. They thanked us so much for actually promoting this on a recent episode. So guys, I want to thank so much everybody for watching, listening. Appreciate it. Been a great crowd indeed. Once again, the Lakers do win 130-114. Joe, obviously you're very encouraged. It's been a very positive Joe, increasingly positive over the past few games. I like it. I like to see it.
PJ, positive Joe.
No, it's not
like
that.
To see it.
It's
Everybody,
not positive.
Okay.
I'm not being positive. I'm analyzing what I'm watching and I'm explaining it.
Okay. Then you're analyzing something in a very positive. It's coming through in a positive manner. People that were always looking for your rants and raves and angry tones are actually kind of quite pleasing.
If they want to rant, I can rant in a positive way.
Which is great. I would love to hear.
You keep talking about the Clippers. I can rant on that.
I mentioned them twice, and yes, you're the one.
I told you already.
You actually mentioned it more than I
told you already. Twice is too much already.
Then why have you mentioned them 5 more times since?
First of all, you said 3 before. Now it's 2.
Whatever. You mentioned them more than I have.
And I was trying to make a point.
As you would say, check the tape.
And you got defensive.
Check the tape, Gerald. Check the tape.
You got defensive. And you start talking about Gerald Genius Glassford.
Thank you so much. I like that. I appreciate that. But unfortunately, it won't say it on my.
By the way, Sovereign, when he meant off air, he didn't mean off air. I get emails. We get emails.
We do get a lot of emails, and we do appreciate every single one of them. And if you want to go ahead, Lakers Fast Break.
We're starting to own a lot of real estate in people's heads that they actually sit down and are like, And I'm sitting there going, really?
Yes, he is.
Cool.
That last one where he basically wrote out a disinfectant recipe kind of had me confused, but for the most part, I can follow along with our audience in there.
Well, we thought of some great things. We were talking about it back and forth in the live watch party about some great ideas we wanted to toss around as far as for upcoming shows. Not only NBA observations, Lakers history 101. We're thinking maybe some Lakers trivia action coming
Now
up.
that is a show, because what's great about trivia, especially the Lakers, is if you're already good with Laker trivia, the stuff that you don't know, now you're gonna know.
Well, I will start out, if we do these shows, if we do separate Lakers trivia shows, we will start out with you guys first. But I would love to see it evolve where our guests also come on, the people that are in our chat or people that just want to come down and answer the questions that are Lakers fans. I'd love for them to be a part of it. And if you are interested in a Lakers trivia show, being part of this, as far as the whole thing going on with, answering questions on Lakers trivia, we'd love to do separate shows on it. So please let us know if you're interested in joining us on one of these shows, or if you're interested in joining us live on these actual post games or live watch party, please let us know. Lakers Fast Break on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, what else? Instagram, Courtside Lakers on Instagram now. Also as well, Lakers Fast Break at yahoo.com. Yes, Joe, before we head on out.
It's not Laker trivia related, but to tail on to what Sean said about the game sevens that the Kings have had.
Mm-hmm.
So the Sacramento Kings, I believe they went to Sacramento in 84 or 85. 85.
From Kansas City,
From Kansas City, yes. They have never won a game seven in Sacramento. The last time they won a game seven was when they were the Kansas City Kings in 1981 in the second round versus the Phoenix Suns. Yes, people, we are basketball nerds. We even know what happened in Kansas City in 1981. So what do you think we're going to know when it comes to the Lakers?
Well, again, if you're interested, we would love doing separate shows.
And hey, guys, I didn't know Sean was going to bring this up. I mean, we prepare for the show, but it's just more added proof that
I brought it up because I got the gift.
No, you're not listening to me. I'm talking about what Sean said today.
Oh, okay.
So not the trivia thing, but Sean mentioned something random. And this goes back to my point about positive, negative. Forget about all that. I'm going off what Sean randomly said, and I'm giving you info on that. I didn't prepare for that. I didn't go in going, oh, what did Sean say? Oh, let me go look. You guys have been watching me here. I'm listening and talking. So just so you guys know, if you guys are going to watch Laker trivia, you better bring your knowledge. If you don't got the knowledge, you're going to learn something, which is fine.
Or if you want to participate.
We know our crap. Know that we know our crap. And that's why this show will be number one day in terms of Laker shows, because we know what we're talking about. We're never going to be dull, and we're going to tell you what we see, and we're going to give you evidence. Evidence. Something's very important in life is evidence. It's what the country.
What if somebody comes on and then they beat you guys?
Hey, we invite them to the show. We invite them to the show, and if they happen to be local, then we take them out for dinner.
I was worried. I'm glad you put on out for dinner part. I thought to take them out part. Sorry.
Oh, Joe's the foreman from Happy Gilmore. I'll see you out in the parking lot.
He was already talking on the last show about.
I cannot tell you guys.
A nice big warehouse. If you want.
I cannot tell you how much I laughed watching that film. The moment. Spoiler alert, guys! If you haven't seen Happy Gilmore, mute the thing. When Carl Weathers brings out his hand, I'm not exaggerating. I could not stop laughing until the end of the movie. And it was the line that really, really broke me was Jaws, the guy that played Jaws. I always knew him as Jaws. What was his name in the movie? Mr. damn it, I hate when I forget names. Well, he's like, when Shooter goes to him, oh, you can count. And he goes, and you can count on me waiting for you in the parking lot. I mean, seriously, my that one and the stay out of my way or you'll pay.
Mr. Larson.
Hey, okay.
Mr. Larson.
And then Mr. Larson. And then and Sandler's like, how about I go eat some hay? I can eat out of clay. I can play by the bay. I just may. What do you say? Like, I'm like, who wrote this stuff? Was this random? Was it written? Like, I was like, you're seeing how I'm turning red. Imagine this. It's late at night. I was going to San Diego. I just come back from the San Diego State orientation. This is the first, first experience in San Diego for college. And I'm like crying. It's 11 o'clock at night. I was with a friend and her mother. Her mother was trying to sleep. She was nice enough to say, hey, you guys want to watch a movie before you go to bed? We're sitting there and we're totally like, we're going to enjoy this movie and then just go to bed. Instead, we kept her mother up for 2 hours because we literally could not hold our laughter. And I went to bed and I was sitting there and after a while, you're just like, you're just like giggling in your sleep from just thinking about the movie. So that was good that you brought that up because I always love telling that story.
It's so funny though, because I was watching old episodes of Siskel and Ebert, and that actually, even though I love the movie as well as you guys do, and obviously it's been so iconic in pop culture for so many years, they absolutely hated it. It's actually one of their worst that the year that came out. But
all due respect,
Adam Sandler just seems to rub people the wrong way.
All due respect to Siskel and Ebert. They were icons in their industry.
They were.
Their critiques on movies like that were a joke because they lost. It's funny because sometimes they'd argue about context, yet they didn't understand the context of that film. That film is not there to inspire or become, to be sent to the Smithsonian or whatever. This was a 2 hour or hour and a half crying, laughing movie that has translated even till now.
It's basically like a lot of fart and sport jokes, and if you can't handle that, then...
I don't know. Honestly, Sean, I don't know. I don't think it was that. That's like you could say that about like The Hangover.
Caddyshack, yeah.
You could say that about Hangover, to some degree, Caddyshack. No, that one, some of the stuff they were saying and the fact that
I agree, Joe. I agree.
Carl Weathers was an icon as Apollo Creed. I don't call him Apollo Creed anymore. I call him Chubbs. That's how big and funny he was in that film. And it's just everything got put together the right way. That's, to me, the greatest Adam Sandler film. And he's had some really good ones, like The Wedding Singer's really, really good. Big Daddy's really good. I know he's made some more drama films recently, but to me, that's when he was in his prime. It was like almost like him and Jim Carrey in the 90s were just off the charts. But yeah, it's laughing just makes things so much better. I mean, you laugh, and winning and laughing are the two best things you can have.
Well, let's hope the Lakers can do a little bit of both in the next couple of days, starting with tomorrow at Sacramento. But we'll be here starting tomorrow for a live watch party. Hopefully you'll be a party joining us. Hopefully you'll be joining us then for a live watch party. Lakers Fast Break right there for you at, of course, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. And then, of course, after the game, we're going to be live right here wherever you get your podcast, plus also YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Trovo, Twitter. We're all over the place showcasing us right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate, again, everybody being a part of what we're doing. Guys, any parting thoughts before we head on out? No?
Lakers, let's focus tomorrow night and return serve for once against Sacramento, especially at Petridge Farms Arena.
Hey, like you said, they make good cookies. Sean, any last thoughts?
I concur with my friend there. Just beat their ass. Just beat their purple and black ass.
Well, I would say if they could just stop from lighting the beam I think that will do me just fine. If the Lakers win and they don't light the beam, I'm all good with that. But once again, it's the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do win 130 to 114. They are now closing in, hopefully, on a play-in spot because right now they are still in 12th place in the Western Conference. But you know what? It's getting better and better, getting closer and closer. The team right now is 18 to 21. They are one game out of a play-in scenario. So hopefully with a loss by Utah tomorrow and a win by the Lakers tomorrow, can put those two teams in a tie, but it would still put Minnesota ahead of them. So we'll see what happens. But yes, by the end of next week, things could look very different for the Lakers. The Lakers could be squarely in the middle of that playoff mix very soon. Keep telling us your thoughts on YouTube, Lakers Fast Break. Again, also as well, Facebook, Trovo, Twitch, Twitter, both on the Lakers Fast Break on Instagram and Courtside Lakers on Instagram. You can share your thoughts as well there, even on TikTok at Lakers Fast Break. So for Joe Soro, Sean Grice, LOL, you have a wayward word, Sean. Sovereign likes that. Gary A says if James doesn't play tomorrow, Joe will lose it. Or will Joe lose it?
Maybe.
Will the
Unless we
bad
win.
Joe come out? Okay. Unless we win. Okay. All right. Got to be the shoes.
Stay tuned tomorrow.
Yep. Stay tuned
And
tomorrow.
find out.
Thank you again to everyone. Gary A, Got to be the shoes, Zangerstein, Sovereign, Terrence, everybody that's been a great part of what we're doing. The trolls, please continue to go away. I've got the magic button that gets you sent away anyways. So please don't come around here. Although you're not going to listen to me, you're going to still stop on by. I'm still going to get you out of here. Doesn't matter. Oh, well. But there you go. Once again, thanks so much for joining us. It's the Lakers Fast Break. We'll be on tomorrow night, hopefully with some good news and hopefully with some more great conversation that only we can provide on the Los Angeles Lakers right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. See you tomorrow night, everyone. Be safe.